Um, all right, I'm back again, Professor Mohsen Zadeh, and engineering faculty at Mesa College, and I am going to create a mechanical drawing or blueprint for one of the solid models that we have created already, and this is um, assignment from our textbook, Chapter 7, Exercise 1. I'd like to create a 2D mechanical drawing for this solid model because there's so much involved, so we wanted to be able to clearly lay out the 2D according to US system of drafting called standard layout, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, a correct layout of solid models is going to be very useful, very helpful in the machine shop, because the machinist has to interpret what you have completed or the drawing that you have created, and if there is no sufficient dimensions given, or it's not clear your drawing, it will be really difficult to make this part here. So everything has to be according to standard. Okay, let me show you that. Let's go to new, and then we're going to click on this radio button called drawing, and then we're going to say chapter 7 exercise 1, and we're going to okay it. And this, at this point, we're going to go to empty with format, and then browse. Make sure you pick the B size paper, okay, because there's a little bit more, there's a more drawings, or 3 views and 2 details drawings. So we're going to create we're going to use B size paper. Okay, all right, so we say okay. So we are in the environment called the drawing environment. Let me just close the model tree so to be able to see the entire picture here. This is our sheet of paper, a little bit larger than the A size paper. All right, so we're going to start with general view. We call it OK, and then click somewhere here. We say front view, so that's a primary or leading view or leader view. We're going to just click on that view and then say projection view, so that's a projection view. Click on this front view again, and we have a projection view called the top view. Okay, so if you wanted to create the isometric, we go to general view again, and then place it somewhere here, and you can see that this is not the isometric, it's trimetric, so we're going to convert that to isometric. Okay, that's a standard type of pictorial drawing that all engineer uses. We call it isometric. Okay, 3D. Isometric means equal axis and equal angles. So this is a picture that is going to help people are going to make this part by having the standard layout, and then we have the picture, so it will be easier to build this, or the mistakes will be less. Okay, or there will be any mistake, hopefully. All right, so I'm gonna convert the shade to a general standard view called 2D layout by double clicking on that view, view display, follow environment. We always pick hidden because we wanted to show the hidden features. Okay, hidden and tangent edges, we say none. Okay, so we do the same thing for the top view. We say view display, follow environment, hidden, tangent edges none. Okay, repeat the same thing for the right side view, view display, and hidden, tangent edges none. Okay, all right, so we have already done this several times, so it should be easy to follow. Okay, so this is called the front view, the top, and the side view. That's all we need. That's a sufficient view. If the view is locked, just right click on the primary view or the first view that you brought in, and then you can just click on lock view movement. Now you should be able to move them. Okay, all 3 views have a fixed relationship, and I always call it, maybe people in my class they say why you do that, because we have to make sure that all 3 have a fixed relationship, or they dance together. See that here, they dance together. Okay, so we can only move this view to the right and left. Okay, right and left, and then this view goes up and down with respect to this front view. Okay, but if you move the front view, all the other 2 views will move with it. See that they're gonna move with this one. So in order to have enough spacing for dimensioning, we just move them around, and you can see that this is the top view and this is the front view. Okay, all right. So if you want to scale it a little bit bigger, you just click on it and say scale. Maybe you can custom scale it at about 0.035. Let's see how large it's gonna get. Okay, so that's okay, good. We're gonna move this to the corner, upper right hand corner, and this one here we're gonna delete so that it doesn't interfere, okay, with what we're doing. All right, great. And then we're going to apply center line. Okay, center line here. Let me see if I can show you that this is a general view. If I just go to view display, instead of hidden I call it no hidden. Let's see how it, no, it, we're gonna just go back to here, and then if it says this is hidden but the tangent edges, it says none, we say default. When we say default, you can see that all the tangent edges is gonna show. So it's up to you. If you want to just leave it like that, it's fine, and if you wanted to just get rid of the bunch of stuff here, it's up to you. So maybe we can just leave it like that. Okay, all right. So for just that view, all right, great. Then we're going to go to annotate and then show model annotation. We're gonna click on that top view and see what we wanted to do here. If we wanted to show all the center line, we say center line of this one, this hole, this hole, this hole, and then we have the general center line here, and then we can have a center line here, and maybe this one, and that's good enough. Okay, apply, and otherwise it's going to get really crowded here. Okay, all right. So, and then we do the same thing for the front view. Okay, front view, and any center line. Since I'm going to create a section view, let's just forget about center line for time being here. Okay, we're gonna just get rid of that, and then in here also we don't need to worry about the center line here as well. Okay, all right, so that's good. Let's just move this a little bit higher so that doesn't interfere with the title block, or let me just scale it down. Okay, I think I scale it too much. Okay, so I'm gonna go to 0.025. Okay, let me just, I hope I entered this 0.025. Okay, great. All right, that's better. Okay, we had a little bit of a scaling of it too big because I need to dimension it. Okay, dimension. All right, before we dimension, I like to create a section view. Okay, that's I've had so many questions saying that how do we create a section view? So let's do this. First we need to have a datum plane. Okay, datum plane, because we want the datum plane here. See that the datum plane has to be, we want to cut through the center of this model here. So we're going to have a full section view or cutaway view. So it's, if you don't have, if you go back to the solid model, and if you don't have this mid, see it, there is a mid datum plane. It's going to cut through the center of that piece. If you don't have it, you have to create a auxiliary datum plane. Okay, you know how to do that. All right, so let me go back to the we're going to toggle back and forth between the drawing sheet and the solid model sheet. Okay, you can do that. Always have one solid model for that drawing open. Please stay away from having, you know, too many solid models open, because it might crash, the system might crash, so you're going to lose everything. So just, this is good to go now. I'm going to double click on this view that we want to put a section lining or cross hatching. We're going to go to section 2D, add. Since I already have bunch of I've created, is in the memory, I've created I've given a name A, B, C, and so on. I'm going to show you the steps. So I'm going to say create new. Okay, create new. Planar, it says, is this planar? Yes. Single? Yes. And then we'll click done. Okay, here I'm going to just give a fictitious name. So I'm going to just say A A1, okay, A1. Oops, I didn't say A11, A1, okay. Since I don't have the letter, I mean the file name, or enter the name for cross section A1, I'm gonna just use A1, okay. All right, and then it says plane, which plane you wanted to cut. All right, let me just move this around so you can see what I'm talking about here. So I'm gonna bring it here. Here is saying that which plane you want to cut through. I'm gonna just zoom this here so I can show you. Let me just zoom that, or if I could just, if the mouse will cooperate with me. That's a problem with the mouse, okay. So I'm going to click on that center. See how it turned green? I'm going to click on that. As soon as I click on that center plane, in the center of this axis, okay, there's a plane. If you see a green check mark, that means you did it correctly. If it's a red, that means incorrect. So you just exit, get out of this, and start all over again, okay. So I'm going to scroll all the way to the right, and I wanted to display the arrow. We call it cutting plane line. I'm going to click on this area and then go back to this top view window, and then I'm going to say OK. Now you can see that we have created a section view here. Let me turn off the plane so you can see it, okay. All right, so and here we have a cross hatching, and since this is a now we have cut this this object into two pieces in the from this here from the middle, so one half has been removed. So this is the interior portion. The purpose of section view is to show interior portion of an object so that we can describe what's going on inside the object. So if you're dealing with a turbine or compressor or the advanced engine, or designing some type of thermodynamic devices, if you wanted to clearly describe the inside of that model or design of any type of machinery, it's better to learn how to create the cutaway views or section views so that you can show the solid surfaces, okay. Well, that's the cutaway view. We call it the solid surfaces, okay. Since this is a section view, there shouldn't be any hidden line. So I'm going to double click on here, okay, and I'm going to go to view display. Remember, I created a hidden for the orthographic projection. So when we make a cut, please go ahead and change the hidden to no hidden, okay. And then we say okay. So no more hidden lines, no more all the messy stuff in here. So if I just show you that, and here it says section A, yeah, you can just remove that. Let's see, hopefully I can just get rid of this, okay. So because it's gonna take up some room, sometimes you can just leave it there, or I will just say delete, okay. I'm going to delete, come on, we're going to delete all this, okay. All right, great. Now if you wanted to put more cross hatching in here, so let me go to layout, and then see, I go to layout and double click on here on that cross hatching. You're gonna see a new menu opens up. So you can go and say spacing. You can just space it a little bit, maybe reduce the spacing to a 1/2. See that it will fill more of those cross hatching or section lining, okay. If you wanted to pick a materials, which we don't need it for this, what I'm doing here, if someone wants to see, wanted to change from cast iron, for example, this materials is by default, you can just go and change it to, by clicking on retrieve, you can pick any materials that you are using for that purpose, glass or copper or titanium and so on, okay. Since I'm not going to change that cross hatching, I'm going to say done. Okay, beautiful. So let's just look at it again. I'm going to, again, I'm sorry that this, I normally I'm fast, but because of the mouse, I'm having a tough time. Maybe I'm going to come up with a better mouse next time for next video. Okay, so it's just having tough time moving around. Okay, all right, so we're going to go to Autoscale so you can see that. And if you wanted to bring this cutting plane line a little bit closer, because it's going to take up some space, I can move them a little bit so that it's more organized, more compact. So you just click on it click on this and then just move them to maybe closer a little bit. Okay, proportionality by eye. Okay, so this is what we have. Just maybe a little bit closer. All right, beautiful. Okay, so that's good enough. I'm just picky sometimes because I used to teach mechanical drawing, hand drawing, and we used to be very, very, picky about this. And that's the nature of this kind of work. You have to be picky because you want your work to be perfect. Okay. All right. So, oops. Now I made a mess. Okay. All right. So I wish I could do this simultaneously, but okay, I think that's good enough. Okay, I'm not gonna mess this up again. All right, so we have that. Next, we wanted to create. You're gonna ask me this question. Okay, you can do the dimensioning, no problem. But I'm going to create the details of this piece here. You remember we did a thread. It's like a threaded pipe or grooves inside this pipe. Okay, I'm going to create a detailed drawing. This is a detailed view, or detailed view, not the drawing, detailed view. And then click on that, click on one of this, remember 1.5 by 1.5 is square. All right, so I'm going to click on the middle somewhere here, and then I'm going to start from somewhere here, and then I'm going to just use a spline or a spline, and then you just go around it, go around this here, and then you just, and that's good enough. And then click on the middle mouse button. It's going to create a circle there. That means we have defined that. So then I'm going to come here and I'm going to place it right here. So we have created a detailed drawing. Okay, so see the detail, it says, okay, and this is the detail and all that. And if you don't want, again, the scale and all this stuff, we should be able to delete them. Okay, all right. So, and if you want to get rid of this section lining, and here you just double click on that, go to this menu and just click on detail independent. Okay, detail independent, and click on erase. So you can erase that and you say done. Okay, all right. So now you can dimension this. Okay, it looks fine. Okay, all right. So and now next, you might say, how can I, let me just move them a little bit around. Okay, just say done, and then if I need to grab this and bring it closer here, I want to create, the details of the top view here. Okay, the top view. So make sure that you have a datum plane. Let me go back here. Make sure you have a datum plane. Back to the solid model. I'm going to turn the datum plane because you're going to ask this question over and over. How do I create this, the details of this and the top view here? Okay, so first we need to create a plane that goes through this hole. Okay, this hole here. So I'm going to create an auxiliary plane called datum plane, and I'm going to click on this surface here. Okay, let's just click on the surface here. Let me zoom it so you can grab the surface. Okay, all right, so I click on the surface, and now I have this datum plane. I call it DTM1. Okay, DTM1, and this has to be, I just reference as a top surface. Okay, since I need to go all the way to the center of this hole, and I know that it's a 9, the distance is 9.5. So I'm going to just click, since the arrow is pointed upward, I'm going to say negative 9.5, so that this datum plane will be coinciding with that hole. Okay, so it's going to push down. See that now, that datum plane is passing through those center that we created before. Okay, you can watch this video for the creation of this solid model, and you can see that we really need to have that. So let's save it in case. Okay, we're gonna save it. So if we close it, since we have not saved it, it's not gonna show that. Okay, so I'm gonna toggle back and forth between the solid models and the drawing, and now we are in business. You see that we have the datum through the center. Okay, all right, great. So let me just move them to just convenient location. Now I'm going to go to general view and say okay, and I'm going to create this on a top view. Okay, I'm going to say top top view. Okay. All right, so I do not worry. Okay, just we created something similar to what we had at the top view for the orthographic projection. The reason for that is because I wanted to remove the materials and only keep this top portion here with the holes. Okay, holes. All right, so this is what we do. We're gonna double click on this one and on that view that we just created. I'm gonna go to sections and say 2D and then add. Again, I'm gonna add this create new one. Let me just again show you what I mean by this. Okay, so this is the menu is hiding there, so it says planar. Yes, done. And then what's the name of this section? We're gonna call it B1. Okay, so I'm gonna go capital letter B, okay, and then 1. All right, so we're gonna go check, and then it says which plane you want it to, which plane you want to cut. Okay, which plane. So I need to come here, see that here. Let me see if I can maybe zoom it so you can see that. So see that if I move the cursor closer to the center line, see that it's gonna highlight green. Okay, click on that, and then oops, it didn't pick. Okay, so that's a red. Red means we didn't pick it correctly. So I'm gonna cancel it and I start all over again. It's okay that, and because you're gonna run into that. Okay, so I'm gonna go back again to since I'm going to all right, so I'm gonna go to sections 2D add, and then I'm gonna go, oh, I already have B. Okay, I'm gonna go create plane called section for the cutting plane. We're gonna call it B1, and then we say check. Okay, check, and then oh, this time it says B. Oh, because it's already in the memory, so B, and I will go okay, arrow display, and then where do you want to put this section? Where do you want it to place the cutting? Oh, we have to, oh, sorry about that, okay, I should not cut through there. Okay, I should cut through the center here. So let me just repeat that again. Okay, because when you don't have all the views in front of you, it's kind of tough to see what's going on. Okay, so sorry about that, and I'm frustrated by this mouse that is just not, you know, because I need to roll it back and forth with a wheel so I can zoom in and out, and you can see that it's not really functioning in a way it's supposed to. So that's why I'm just going back and forth like this. All right, so I'm going to repeat that again. Okay, since I wanted to put the cross hatching on here, I'm going to double click on this one, and then I'm going to go to section and 2D and then add and then create a new one, and we're going to say done. Okay, we say done, and then I'm going to say B1 and then check, and here it goes back to B, and then it says which arrow display where we want the arrow display to be here, and then we say okay. Now you see that the arrow has been, that cutting plane line. Okay, see that? All right, come on, just move this. Okay, so since see that the cutting plane is passing through the center of these holes, okay, this hole, and I'm going to highlight that and then right click. Okay, right click, and now it says flip materials removal. Okay, flip material. As soon as you click on that, all the materials that you have, okay, let me see, all the materials that you have in here, okay, if you say flip material removal, watch, you know, pay attention, look at this. As soon as I click on flip material removal, it's going to remove all the unwanted, see it reverses, it reverses this cutting plane line. Okay, let me just move it a little bit closer here, see that? I think we need to invest in a better mouse. This is not a good quality mouse. All right, so okay, all right, so you can see that this when we created this, when we click on this view, the arrows was pointed downward, so I have to select this and then right click right click and it says flip materials removal. Okay, when it was down, when I said flip material removal, so it point the arrow upward. So now you can see that, and this what we wanted is here. And if you wanted to just get rid of all the datum planes, so just get rid of them. And then if you wanted to place the center line in here, you go to annotate and show model annotation, and then click on this surface here. It's going to show you that center line. How about if you wanted to show other center line? I don't want that one. Okay, I don't want that one. I want the one on a diagonal because we wanted to give a dimension 45 degrees. Okay, so if I click on here, that's a section BB. Okay, BB, and that's a section AA. All right, so I need to have a center line that goes through center of this diagonally through these two holes. So if I go here and say I want really to go, oops, and all right, so that's better. So I want to keep this one, and I wanted to keep this one, the middle one. Okay, so, and I say apply, and now we are in business. Okay, because when we do the dimensioning, look at this, when we do the dimensioning between, because that's the only dimension we need, is control and this line here, and we have a 45 degrees. Okay, so because you're going to ask this question, how can I create that center line? Just please try to play with that and then click on somewhere so that you can get that the main center line, the x and y axis, and then the diagonal center line that passes through the center, so you can have that angle 45 degree. And then you say I'm happy. Okay, so that's your 45, and here you can just give a detailed dimension, like you wanted to dimension this to be 1 point, so that's a 1.5. okay, and then this is also, it's a 1.5 by 1.5, so I can just give that measurement also a 1.5, or we can say that also the thick, this is 1.5 by 1.5. Let's see if I can dimension that also. That says 1, but that's actually, okay, so this is a 1.5 by 1. That's good enough. Okay, that's good enough. And let's see if I can make sure that I mean, that's a location, it's fine. Okay, all right, so now we can go and dimension this view, the top view. For example, let's focus on this a little bit and dimension from the center of this hole, control, hold the control down to center of this hole, and then that's 90, if you recall that. Okay, so 90, and then from center of this hole, control to this one axis, and that's 46. Then we have a diameter of this one. Double click for diameter is 7.5, and then if you want to give this radius here, that radius is going to be 38, and then we have the total measure. Okay, let's see if I move this to here, shift, okay, shift and middle click, so you can just make it more visible. Okay, visible. And then if you want, I really do not like this 76 the way it's showing here. If I were you, I would go here and show the 76, which is a total distance, because the depth is the same. So if I click on here, I can get 76 better than at this point. Okay, I prefer the 76 here than what the textbook is showing it on here. It's not a good idea. So for dimensioning center to center, it's great to do that. Okay, and that's what in a machine shop they like to see, that center. And also, if I want to know the angle here, it's already, we have already created the angle 45, and it's redundant to show the 45 degree angle here because we already gave the details here. Okay, so no need to worry about that dimension. So if you wanted to dimension on the ring that passed through there, you might ask me, how do I create that center, you know, that reference center. Okay, this is I've seen that over and over. Students ask me, how do you create the reference center because it's not showing here? Let's do this. Okay, I'm gonna go to a sketch and click on this construction circle, and then on this menu here, if you bring it down, you just click on select, and then make sure you select one of the circle because they're all concentric. Okay, concentric, that's one. And then I'm gonna click on each circle. Okay, each circle is gonna outline it here. Okay, so let me just zoom it a little bit more. So I'm gonna click on all the circles. Okay, that circle, that circle, that circle, this one, this one, that one. Okay, when we are done, we're gonna click middle click, and then we go to here to this origin center. See that? And now you can see that that is your reference, that green. Okay, that's a reference center circle. But we have to be careful now because we just made that sketch through the sketch construction circle. But in order to make that relative to this view, so we get the value of 35, diameter 35, just while is it has been selected as green. Okay, it's green. Right click inside this box, and then you said relate to view. Relate to which view? This view. Okay, click on that, and then you are okay, because you can now dimension that. I'm going to go back to annotate and dimension. If I double click on that, and it's going to give me, oh, maybe it's a little bit a tiny bit off because it's supposed to be 35. So maybe we missed something. Okay, that should be precisely 35. I don't like it. Okay, I don't like that. I think we just missed that a little bit here. Or let me see if I go to okay, if I go back to here, sketch, and then here, so I can just delete that. Okay, let me repeat that here, because maybe these holes are not precisely on this circumference, because I think this was my mistakes, because I deleted what I created, then I have another one that I have saved it. So I think that was the problem, because when I do this, I'm very careful to create all this circle on the reference center circle. So let me just repeat that again. Okay, so we'll go construction circle, and then first I'm going to click on, I have to select. Okay, select, maybe I'm going to click that circle. Okay, and then I'm going to click because I want to select the center of this circle, center of that circle, center of this circle, and center of that circle, and here, and this one. Okay, just be patient. Okay, be patient. Patient. Okay, I've selected all of them. Then I go middle click. So then I'm going to come back here, make sure that, yeah, I think I slipped a little bit before. Okay, let me just right click and relate to this view. All right, let me dimension that. This is really fun. Okay, but you got to just be patient. You got to be patient, and when we have it, nice the mouse is it was working, I could have done this better. I could have done a better job. Okay, let me just make the flip arrow here while I'm here, so because it bothers me when I don't see that the arrow has to be pointed to the circumference. So that's 7.5. So let me go to dimension and then double click. Okay, double click. Oops, because one click gives you radius. Okay, double click. Oops, come on, dimension, and then I'm going to double click. Oops, I think this was, the hole was not created properly. Okay, so what I will do is, I just wanted to show you this happen all the time. I'm going to go back to here when this person created this. All right, so I'm going to go to all the pattern. Okay, all pattern. So I'm going to go to edit definition, and then I'm going to was it the one on top? Correct. Okay, this is when one of them was created, one of the hole. So if I go to maybe the hole number 1, okay, and then edit definition. So let's see if I go placement, placement, And then okay, I think this person did not created this correctly. What I will do is I'm going to delete, okay, I'm going to delete this pattern, delete this pattern, and I'm going to create one. Okay, that's my personality. I just wanted to make things perfect. So I'm gonna go to extrude, placement, define. Okay, click on that surface, sketch view, and then I'm gonna go back to here, and I'm gonna go no hidden. So I'm going, this is what someone makes mistake. So I'm going to right click references, reference. Okay, let me see if I pick that center of the circle, solve, close. I'm going to create a what do they call that, a reference, a reference a reference center circle. I'm going to convert that to construction line, and then that should be at 35. Okay, 35, enter. Okay, now we are in business. Okay, now we are in business. So inside the, now we have this reference center circle. All right, so now we're going to go to a circle. We're going to select the circle, and that will be exactly on the intersection of the axis and this reference circle center. So I'm going to give the diameter of the hole, which should be, diameter should be 5. Okay, 5, enter. And we say we are happy now with that, and then we're going to create that check, and this should go down about 10. Okay, the depth and the how deep that should be is 10, and then we say enter. So we go check, and now we're gonna just pattern that. Okay, we're gonna pattern, we go pattern, and then have the axis turned on, and then I'm gonna click on the axis. So I'm gonna go to axis, and then click on this axis here, and then I'm gonna say 8. I'm going to click enter 8 and 45 degree angle. Okay, 45 degree angle, and then check. Okay, so now I want to, that's how the engineering is. If something is not correct, you got to go back and fix it. Okay, no whining, no complaining, just you got to fix it. So because it's going to cause problem when we do the assembly, because if there's other parts that has to match with this one here, if you don't make this correctly, it's going to cause all kinds of headaches. Okay, so because I used to teach a certificate course as a mechanical drafting people, so for tool design engineering companies like Aurora and other company, and back in 1900 BI, before internet. So I remember that the machine shops people used to tell me that if you don't mention that, if you don't give information to students, let them know that if they mess up a tiny bit, if you are off a tiny bit, they're gonna it's going to be make this, when they make this part and they want to assemble it, it's not going to fit perfectly. Okay, so let me save it. Okay, save this, and do not worry. Now we go to look at what happened. If I go back to my drawing, and this has already been fixed, I believe. Okay, because they have a fixed relationship, the solid model and the drawing, they have a fixed relationship. So let me just shift, hold the shift down and middle mouse button, and let's see if I can just go back here and then go to dimension, and now I'm going to click on that reference center, double click, and oops, still 34.9. How that happened? Okay, maybe I need to delete, let me see if I delete this one. Okay, if I delete the sketch, okay, if I delete the sketch, so delete, and then repeat that again. Okay, alright, so it's taking a little bit some time, but that's alright. Okay, we want to do it correctly. Construction, reference circle, and then we say let me just repeat that again. Okay, escape. Alright, so we're gonna go to alright, so we're gonna repeat that again, construction circle, and then we're gonna go select, and then we're gonna go to one of the circle. I hope all the circle, they're all concentric. Maybe this one. okay, and then we're gonna go to every single circle, okay, center, uh, center, center, center of this circle. Okay, all right, so I hope you're following that. Okay, and then we say middle click, and then we go to here to this dead center, and to ensure that we click on the dead center. So then I'm gonna just right click, relate to view. Which view? This view. And then let's dimension it now. Let's see if it's gonna work. Okay, so this one here, oh, success. See that? Oh, I'm happy because we gotta just see that here. All right, so now we got and that 35 that we wanted. Okay, one tiny mistakes, it's going to cause all kinds of headaches. So that's what we have. If you wanted to flip arrow. So that's 35 that everybody's gonna ask me, and then the rest I'm gonna leave it up to you. You can dimension the rest, okay, because it's a little bit we're running out of time. So and here you can just dimension from here, control there, and that was the thickness of 10. All right, so we're gonna have the this here is supposed to be a radius. That should be a radius of 4, and then this is diameter of this hole. Okay, that should be a 25. Remember that we created that. Okay, and then we have a this radius of 5 here, and then that's a radius of 3. Okay, radius of 3, and this one may be a radius of 5. Okay, that's what it does, like that. Okay, so that's a radius of 5 there. Okay, that's radius. Or if you wanted to just pick this up, and then it just does this, okay, because of the weight. All right, so we're going to just stop right here, because the rest you can do it. Okay, you guys can do that, and I'm going to just look at this, and then there's some dimension missing, but you can look at the assignment that you have, and you can just give proper dimensioning. Okay, all right, so you got most of the information that you need. And again, it was a little bit challenge, you know, this was challenging, so I think it's going to help you. Okay, so all right, I'm gonna stop right here, and hope to see you again, or in class, and we're gonna talk about this. If you have any question, you can ask me during the class time. Okay, all right, I'm done. Bye.